The Sasuke Retrieval arc was a true coming of age for fans who watched the Naruto series during its initial run. Due to the story taking a dramatic shift into more mature subject matter, the main protagonists facing a pivotal point in their character development, and young fans of the series, myself included, reckoning with a series that no longer seemed to hold our hands as we navigated the harsh realities of the real world. This arc of Naruto garnered the nickname, the arc where boys become men. Also the arc that launched 1,000 Linkin Park AMVs, but we'll get into that later. And by no means was the Naruto series without dark subject matter prior to this. We witnessed the tragic backstories of Haku and Gaara, who were targeted by their own fathers for being too powerful and unable to be controlled. We witnessed the brutal killings when our heroes clashed against enemy ninja. And we saw human experimentation by cold-blooded sociopaths like Orochimaru, who kidnapped and killed children just to advance his own knowledge and power. But this arc felt more personal, and every event that takes place before, during, and after hit much closer to home. The stakes are raised to an unprecedented level, and a failure would be not only devastating, but unthinkable, especially if you were as young and naive as the intended audience was at the time. And because we're more invested, because we've watched Naruto and his comrades grow, because we're aware of the struggles they face and the obstacles they've overcome, it makes it all the more tragic just to see them try so hard, get so far, but still come up short in the end. There are many different catalysts for this arc. We could start with Itachi's return to the Leaf Village and how it re-sparked Sasuke's hatred for him. We could start with Orochimaru sending the Sound Four to abduct Sasuke. But we really need to start with the Uchiha clan massacre, because we need to understand Sasuke's perspective, because it's the whole reason why this arc even happens in the first place. Because of that event, the day that changed Sasuke's life forever. We don't need to go into too much detail. We've seen this iconic flashback many times, perhaps too many times throughout the series, but let's just say that Sasuke is completely justified for choosing revenge after witnessing the death of his entire clan at the hands of his brother. However, how you go about it is something else entirely. Kakashi's warning to Sasuke really puts into perspective the crossroads he faces. He can either use his power for the greater good or succumb to the darkness, a path whose first step has already led him, seemingly to try to kill his best friend for greater power. Sasuke initially dismisses Kakashi, and in one of my favorite scenes in all of OG Naruto, suggests that him killing Kakashi's loved ones would be the only way for him to understand how he feels. And Kakashi reveals that there will be no point, as everyone he loves is already dead. This moment really puts into perspective just how much Kakashi has been through, and while it may not be fair to compare grief, one could argue that Kakashi has just as much reason to follow a path of darkness, given all he has lost in his life. But that's not the type of man Kakashi wanted to be. Kakashi, choosing his comrades, his village, and his duty, even at his lowest, really makes him the perfect character to appeal to Sasuke. And he is somewhat effective. Other than Naruto's plea during their fight when he acknowledged him as a brother, this is the only other time we see Sasuke question himself and the road he was taking. Naruto and Kakashi do understand Sasuke to some degree, but there is one major difference. Sasuke is an Avenger. You've heard Sasuke say it multiple times, but he makes it clear that it's more than just talk. If I were to psychoanalyze Sasuke in this moment, I would say that the trauma weighs too heavily on his psyche, and his recent encounter with Itachi pushed him over the edge. He just found out that Itachi is also after his best friend, and that must have ignited a strange blend of jealousy and concern for Naruto's safety, or at least not wanting Itachi to have the satisfaction of hurting any more people that he cares about. Furthermore, Sasuke has a clan that he must restore the honor to. It's a sacred duty he probably holds over his duty to the village and his friends. And if there isn't a single person in the Leaf Village who understands that, or who is strong enough to take on Itachi, it makes complete sense that he left for Orochimaru. Jiraiya said it himself, the two of them are alike in some ways. Orochimaru in his quest for knowledge and power left the village and his comrades behind for their own goals. In some ways, it's very fitting. It underscores that on a boy's path to becoming a man, tough decisions will be made, often paved with sacrifice, and it's anyone's guess if the path chosen is the right one. His final moments with Sakura before he leaves the village is also tough to watch. As she pours her heart out, Sasuke can only give her the respect of hearing her out one last time, allowing her to say her piece and expressing his gratitude to her before ultimately leaving her behind. It's the final indicator that words will not reach Sasuke, and now there is only one person left who has a chance. Assembling a group of genin to go after Sasuke was such an incredible choice by Masashi Kishimoto. Leaving the senseis behind, it made the danger of the mission much more palpable, a sense that nobody would be coming to the rescue. It allows young viewers to feel like they're a part of the team with characters they grew up watching for a significant part of their childhood. It also forces the Genin to rise to the occasion, namely Shikamaru, with an impressive speech about how he'll risk his life protecting his subordinates and his comrades, Sasuke included. It's a complete reversal from the man who wanted to be a cloud, unbothered and unburdened by responsibility. I find Shikamaru's character here extremely relatable, as I'm the type to avoid overworking myself if I can help it. But when we need to lock in, we show up for the people who need us and do what needs to be done. And we may even find a clever solution to get it done with minimal effort. It's an incredible lesson for young men to receive while watching and growing into manhood. Another element here is the brotherhood among Leaf Shinobi. Each member of the Sasuke Retrieval team is willing to risk their lives to go up against Orochimaru's henchmen. Seeing Choji, Neji, and Kiba risk their lives for the sake of the mission, the village, their Leaf comrade, and each other was one of the greatest things to come out of this arc. Choji, the kind but timid young warrior, fully embraces the power of his Akamichi bloodline and places his life on the line, standing up for himself and his friend Shikamaru after he was insulted. Choji is the type of friend everyone needs, by the way, the type to defend you when you aren't in the room, and punch a crater into anyone who disrespects their friends. The thing I admire about Choji here is that if he says he's going to do something, he will do it even if it means sacrificing everything. It is here that Choji goes from boy to man, a man who lives up to his word and is worthy of respect. Neji is also a highlight of this arc. Having already displayed some mature growth following his fight with Naruto during the Chunin exams, Neji acknowledges where he was wrong and takes steps to better himself mentally and philosophically, rather than just physically. It's an admirable quality that most grown men in the real world have trouble embodying. But Neji is a genius, capable of understanding the concept of humility and how it can only make one better. Like Choji, he puts his life on the line, pushes himself beyond his limits, and makes the near-ultimate sacrifice against his opponent after giving him one hell of a fight, and comes out victorious in the end. Even Kiba was willing to end his life to take down his opponent. He and man's best friend, Akamaru, give their fight everything they've got, and to give Orochimaru's henchmen this much trouble is a testament to how determined they were. Rock Lee may have had one of the most hype moments in original Naruto, other than the Chunin exams, of course. After watching him struggle with no longer being a shinobi and facing the possibility of death with the surgery to heal his body, it is the ultimate moment of triumph to see him return with spectacular fashion, youthful passion at that. He's a fan favorite for a reason. His hard work, determination, and kindness that he inherited from his sensei Guy is what masculinity could be in its purest form when purged from its superficial elements. Disciplined, filled with grit, maybe a little reckless sometimes, but always well-intentioned. And the fact that Lee comes right out of a major surgery and heads straight to the battlefield to support his comrades says a lot about Lee as a man. And then there's the Sand siblings, who pull up with the greatest assist we've seen up until that point. They were always cool characters, but seeing them return to fight on our side this time really just elevated the entire arc. Gaara's character development here is some of the greatest I've ever seen, going from a sociopathic killer to someone with an incredible level of empathy and a desire to learn more about the human connection is masterfully done by Kishimoto, and laid the groundwork for him ascending to Kazekage and becoming a true leader that people can look up to. There's a lesson here for men who wish to be better, who are capable and receptive to self-reflection, who put in the work and become the greatest version of themselves. And of course, the major climactic showdown of this arc. Everything culminates when Naruto finally confronts Sasuke at the Valley of the End. It's arguably the greatest fight in the entire series. Personally, my favorite because of how well animated and choreographed it is. I'll make a separate video breaking down just how brilliant this fight is, but for now I'll concentrate on the narrative. This confrontation marks a pivotal moment in both the narrative and the character development of Naruto and Sasuke. It reflects a transition from childish notions of friendship and rivalry to more mature concepts of personal growth, loss, and the complexities of one's own desires and identity. Every choice Sasuke makes in this arc conveys a more mature and tragic understanding of the cost of his own ambitions. He is willingly going towards the darkness to achieve his goals, and that is the path he has chosen to follow. But Naruto cannot accept that. He does not accept that. When it's clear that words will not sway his mind, Naruto opts to use force instead. And again, this isn't a friendly match between rivals. There are several occasions where Sasuke is trying to kill Naruto here, and Naruto, tapping into the power of the Nine Tails, could have just as easily killed Sasuke as well. The two are pretty evenly matched, and it's pretty incredible watching these two overpowered genin throw everything they have at each other. It It was built up for so long that it feels like the stakes can't get any higher, and every punch thrown, ninjutsu used, and words spoken carry significantly more weight. There's one interaction in particular that stands out among it all, and it's when Naruto drives him into a corner and begs him to come to his senses. In that moment, Sasuke's bravado snaps, and for a brief moment the two connect on an emotional level at the same wavelength. Sasuke tells Naruto that he has never experienced loss because he was alone from the beginning, and could never understand what Sasuke is going through. And as harsh as that sounds, he does have a point. But Naruto does have a brilliant response that cuts to Sasuke's core, as he acknowledges what he says is true, but reveals that he considers Sasuke to be like a brother to him, and losing him would be just as painful. The thing I admire about Naruto is that despite how stubborn he can be sometimes, he's not afraid to wear his heart on his sleeve and tell others how he feels. It's a stark contrast to many other characters in the series who go for the cool, distant, or aloof approach. There's something warm and inviting about a man who can balance strength with kindness and compassion, and do it without fear. It's something a lot of men struggle with, especially today. The fear of rejection, the fear of being seen as weak, the fear of being alone, and all the challenges a man faces in life can turn many of us very cold. And sometimes it feels like taboo to express authentic emotions, especially from one man to another. But there is power in speaking truth to your emotions, especially when it's to a receptive ear. And that is why Naruto's words hit Sasuke harder than any punch he could have thrown. This is where Sasuke miscalculated. I think he was reminded here that he was giving up more than just superficial ties and bonds. He was giving up a family, a brother. The love he lost has been rekindled, reincarnated into new comrades. And it's a plea that almost works. But as Sasuke says, it's too late for him to turn back now. His mind is made up. I do think it's significant that he chooses to acknowledge Naruto's strength here and wear the leaf headband immediately after this exchange as a sign of equals. And with the Sharingan evolving in this moment, a sign that he is going through significant emotional turmoil, I believe Sasuke was only willing to set aside his ego, not because of Naruto's strength, but because of his vulnerability and authenticity. Sasuke respected his power, but his words are what truly shifted things here. In desperation, Naruto surrenders to the Nine Tails and Sasuke surrenders to the Curse Mark. They throw everything they have at each other, and in the end, Naruto is unable to stop Sasuke. I do think it's worth mentioning here that Sasuke makes an important decision here not to kill Naruto while he's unconscious. He decides it goes against his very character and the type of man that he wants to become. Failure can be devastating. This one especially so given everything our heroes went through to complete the mission. But like all things in life, it's important how you respond to it and carry on. Like Nagato teaches Naruto later in the series, pain does often force you to grow and mature as a person. It's up to you to decide how you grow and what kind of man you want to become. And I think that's why Naruto, Shikamaru, and Sakura's response to their mission being a failure is so inspiring. Shikamaru, when faced with a failed mission where multiple comrades almost died, falters and nearly gives up hope being a shinobi. He is lovingly taunted by Temari, who knows how talented he is and tries to comfort him. And his father gives him a brutal reality check and some extremely tough love, even questioning his masculinity for thinking of giving up. Shikamaru's journey to manhood is one of the most well-done portrayals in the series. It displays why fatherhood is so important and why good men and good fathers matter. And in the case of Temari, it displays why an equally strong, maybe even stronger woman should not be seen as a threat to your masculinity, but rather as someone who can be by your side when you're at your lowest. The right woman, with genuine intentions, will elevate you in ways you never imagined, especially if you abandon your ego and are receptive to them. Through his tears, Shikamaru vows to be a better leader, and the Leaf Village and his friends, and the plot is all better for it. Sakura's failure to bring Sasuke back with her words alone causes her to finally come to terms with how powerless she is. She makes a vow to Naruto that next time she'll be there to help him bring him back. And she doesn't just talk tough, she actually puts in the work. And with all her distractions gone, she ends up having arguably the most impressive improvement to her skills as a shinobi after the time skip. And through his bandaged and beat-up body, Naruto still has resolve. Even when challenged by his master Jiraiya, he knows what type of man he is. He will not give up. He may have been knocked down, he may have been beaten and disappointed, but the core of Naruto's character is that he will never stop trying. His resolve is so powerful that even the mighty and gallant Jiraiya has no choice but to honor it. Under certain conditions, of course, but a win is a win. And with that, Naruto goes on his own journey of personal growth over the time skip. This was the arc that accelerated the character development of literally everyone in the series and pushed them to adulthood. As for fans of the series, it also changed our worldview as well. Taught us realistic lessons about what it means to grow, to sacrifice, to win and lose, to make hard decisions, and to persevere. There's a lot of uncertainty in life, and not everything will go the way you want it. With our team failing the mission, Sasuke abandoning the village for Orochimaru, and the Akatsuki threat looming large, there is a sense of hopelessness and fear at the end of Naruto Part 1. But there is also a sense of optimism. The key message is to never give up, because failure doesn't mean you lose. It just means that you have another chance to better yourself and win the next time. But that does it for this extremely long video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe if you did. It really helps me out as a new YouTuber. Let me know down in the comments how this arc personally affected you growing up. What were your favorite moments, and did any scenes leave any lasting impressions on you, even as an adult? I'm interested in hearing your thoughts and comments down below, and as always, thank you for watching.